Welcome back. Segment 2, Illinois schools in the spotlight again, and this time at the national level. I mean, and this hits close to home. This is Glenbard North, which is, used to be in our conference for sports. It's just to the north of us. It's definitely in the suburbs where we like to talk to people about what's going on. We know the superintendent pretty well.
Yep.
Not impressed there, by the way. But, here you go. Illinois music teacher resigns after calling a student a piece of S for wearing a mask below the nose, and then he vows to become a better human being. I think this story broke last week. It broke very quickly. We do have the audio of him confronting a student after school hours in the hallway where there is nobody in the hallway but him and the student. It's appalling. We have it teed up for you. Take a listen to this clip.
You're playing? Are you playing? No, I'm not. Otherwise, I will call the police. Oh. I'm serious. Yeah, come on.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, I am serious, man. I am had enough of it. I knew you were going to take off your mask the moment I turned the corner. So enjoy BIA. That's in school suspension where you have to sit in the room with the military guy all day because you're a piece of shit. Jacket.
Okay, so you heard the clip. Okay, first of all, just the vitriol, the hate, the ugliness. It's all about a mask. Him not wearing a mask properly. Meanwhile, the teacher in question, who's yelling at the student, has his mask below the nose.
That's right. He does.
Okay, so he's not wearing it properly either. And then, then the whole, you're going to have to sit in BIA, must be either like detention.
In school suspension.
Okay, and with that military guy. I mean, I think the way that he said that, quite frankly, as a veteran, I think he's derisive towards the military. I don't think he has any respect for the military, that military guy. Okay, and then on top of it, calls the student, a minor, a piece of S. So this goes viral. Of course, the superintendent is, having to shut it down. Basically, writes that we're investigating this. It's he says. Not long after this, he says, it's important to maintain a positive school culture based on mutual respect for each other. You may have seen or heard of a video regarding a Glenbard North student and staff member. Please know that this situation is being investigated. I ask that you trust that we will handle this situation in an appropriate manner. I also want to take a moment to thank everyone for great cooperation in following our mask requirement, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I think you noted the vitriol and the hate. And first of all, I couldn't be a teacher. A good teacher is worth their weight in gold. I do not have the patience. I like kids, but groups of them are just overwhelming. So it isn't for everyone. But I think this anger that he's coming at that kid, not like a teacher who's being instructive or who's disciplining, but it reminded me more of like Antifa protesters screaming at police officers. It was unhinged. And I think it's the result of, we were talking about in the second segment, how the political class, the media, academia has turned all their vitriol towards people who are unvaccinated, why don't you focus this on, the actual terrorists in the Middle East? Why don't you focus this on the people who are, responsible for gun violence, shooting after shooting in Chicago every week, rather than your neighbor who happens to have decided that he's not going to get vaccinated or is uncomfortable wearing a mask all day long. This is really misdirected anger, but it's what has been ginned up for us by the people in charge.
Well, somewhat to the teacher's credit, his name is Scott Grigoletto. He's a former music teacher at Glenbard North, because he did resign, saying that he's going to try and improve himself.
It would have been very difficult, I think, for him to continue at that school.
Yes, well, let's hope he doesn't pop up at another school nearby, because we've seen this before. We've seen the unhinged teachers in this same
Well, and this is just
area.
the most recent incident involving school teachers in the COVID pandemic. Last month, a Nebraska school teacher was placed on administrative leave after she shared a social media post comparing anti-maskers to the Ku Klux Klan. In August, a Utah high school teacher was fired after also being caught on video antagonizing unvaccinated students and attacking former President Trump. A middle school teacher in Washington wrote a Facebook post about unvaccinated people, and she said she is, quote, ready to let them die. And in May, a Wisconsin high school teacher was caught on video scolding a student for not wearing a mask, calling him a jerk and a dummy. So there's clearly messaging from teacher unions directly to teachers. And Randy Weingarten was very open about her opinions that we weren't going back if they're not, if there isn't.
Well, and then they actually influenced the CDC's recommendation on school kids being masked as well. So they've got this heavy hand
their teachers.
of influence. So of course they're influencing their teachers. And if you go, you should just go to, I encourage you, go to the IEA's website, the Illinois Education Association's website, the Americans Federation for Teachers, go to their website and read some of what they say. Just openly what they say. It's very hostile. Towards parents or anybody else. It's they run the schools, and you better sit down and shut up and let them do what they want to do.
And they're not happy over parents finally asserting themselves over their rights
as a parent
regarding their children's education
and
they're
health. Really, this is
they're
right.
very unhappy with it. They want a monopoly on your kid's mind. They don't want you demanding you have a say in what's going on in their school or anything like that.
And we covered in past podcasts just the teacher who said, I'm trying to indoctrinate my students, and I'm going to give them extra credit for going to an Antifa rally. So,
yes,
this is in our backyard. Suburban moms, wake the hell up. Yeah. This is what's happening.
It's a good argument for cameras in classrooms.
It's a good argument for school choice, wholesale school choice. That's what we need in this state to improve scores. Speaking of that, last point I did want to make on this, Glenbard North High School, only 40% of the students are at grade level in English. Only 38% of the students are at grade level in math.
It's because we have teachers focused too much on politics.
It's ridiculous. And there's a particular one up there too that we know that's to be the case. The civics teacher.
Oh, yes.
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 Yeah. She's interesting. Okay. So that's it for this segment. Coming up, the Weinstein case, the Me Too movement, and these women in Hollywood who can't even get the story straight.
Yeah. One of the former accusers is blasting the Me Too group for focusing on left-wing political interests instead of victims. So
good for her.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking
back with that.